Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Nottingham Buddhist Centre. This is the Tuesday evening drop-in meditation session. My name is Richard. If you are regular here, you've almost certainly met me or seen me around at least. And I've been away for a couple of weeks, but I think I've been away for a bit longer than that in terms of this session, because I think Paul was doing a couple before that, so it's been a while. Looking forward to getting back into it with you. And I'll just draw your attention to some of the videos that we've got on our channel. We put them up, it's probably a few weeks ago now, and they're based on something called the Meditation Toolkit, which I believe was developed at the London Buddhist Centre, I think. And what that's designed to do is to give you some sort of reference point for all the meditations that we do, quite a lot of little hints and tips, all that sort of thing. So if you're on our channel, you'll see those videos, and they're just designed to help you with anything that you need, and also designed to introduce these meditations to you, rather than have us introduce the same thing every single time. And what that will do is it will free us up a little bit as well to just deliver something that might be a little bit more suited to you, and we can start explore other areas as well. So it's quite a potential to be quite a creative sort of development in this session, really. But I've just come back from my solitary retreat, so I haven't prepared anything wacky and wonderful, so you may hear me say some of the similar things I've said before, but they're all hopefully very useful anyway. So I won't say too much about posture. I'll just briefly mention dana. We do operate here still on our dana economy principles, where we just ask people for a donation. That can be whatever you feel that you can give. We need that even more than ever, really, at the moment. There's so much uncertainty around. We're not entirely sure when we're going to be opening again, all of that sort of thing. If you do feel able to give us a donation, we're very, very grateful for that. More grateful than ever, really. In terms of posture, just find what's comfortable for you. If you're at home, you've probably got all of the stuff you need. So all I'll say is, while I'm sort of giving a little preamble, just take a bit of time to find out any sort of uncomfortable points in your posture, any sources of tension, anything like that. Just try to make those a little bit more comfortable for yourself, because as the meditation goes on, chances are that's probably going to get a bit worse. You may get fatigued, there may be more pain appearing, that sort of thing. So tonight we're going to do the Metta Bhavana. So most of you know, Metta means loving kindness, Bhavana means to cultivate. So in this meditation, we are going to go looking for the sources of Metta, sources of loving kindness within us. And we're going to start to get to know them better, and by doing so, we start to grow those and make them more powerful within our experience. Really, this meditation is all about taking something that is part of everyone. It's just a perfectly normal part of being a human, is to behave kindly towards each other and towards yourself. But what we're doing is we're cultivating that to make it a much more powerful force in the world. We all operate in the world, even in subtle ways that maybe we don't quite register all the time. So if you do start to do this practice with any regularity, it will start to filter out into the world. It's not just a kind of personal development thing or a life improvement thing, although that does happen, obviously. That's a very good thing to be doing. But what it really does, it transforms you and the world you live in. That's a really, really important part of this practice. So it does a few things. One thing that when you do the Metta Bhavana, what we're doing really is we're committing to a process of transformation. Sounds quite grandiose, really. You're sitting there and you're working on your mental states, but what you're doing there is you're transforming yourself. It's as simple as that. And by transforming yourself, again, like I say, that just transforms the world around you, because you start to behave in a different way. So sometimes metta is called a wise emotion, which is quite interesting in terms of, we tend to think of wisdom sometimes maybe as a bit of a kind of mental event, psychological event, and not so much an emotional event. So there's something that's quite unusual there, quite original in some ways, I think, at least for our Western kind of minds. And the reason it's called sometimes a wise emotion is because it's actively seeking out and engaging with a reality that is other than our own. And that's just a really crucial point in the Metta Bhavana. This world that we build for ourselves, built around ourselves and our needs and stuff like that, we're going beyond that into the undiscovered country of whatever our world is. Other people are mostly what that's about. So what happens there, though, in some ways, is that when we challenge that sense of self-direction, then our sort of concept of what happiness is can start to shift around a little bit. Sometimes our sense of happiness is have I got what I need? Have I got what I want? Are my desires being met? All of those kind of things. And they're fine as far as they go. But actually, when we start to look at a broader concern for other people, and are other people being affected by me in a positive way, that sort of thing starts to shift our sense of happiness. Do I feel connected to the world, for example? And does the world feel connected to me? And just as important. So in that sense, our sort of sense of happiness can sort of shift around a bit, and it starts to become a little bit less self-directed, which can be a very good liberating kind of a thing, really. So I won't introduce the stages too much. I'll say a little bit when we start to do them, but there are 5 stages. And if you go back to the videos that I mentioned earlier, the introductory videos, you'll get a good sort of grounding in what the Metta Bhavana actually is. But broadly speaking, we just bring people to mind and we start to wish them well. And the people include ourselves as well. We start to wish them health, happiness, freedom. There's a phrase that I'll use throughout the meditation, and it's may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. And that is a very sort of traditional thing to wish for someone. And the reason we do that is because all beings want that. You only have to look around you and see the sort of the pain and suffering that's around, and the lengths that people go to try and get away from it. So everybody wants to be free, they want to be happy, and they want to be healthy. So we'll wish that for the person who we're bringing to mind, and that includes ourselves. Yeah, I won't say too much more about it really, other than one more thing. There are 3 things that in the Buddhist world that sort of drive this world around, and sometimes they're called the 3 poisons. They are greed, hatred, and delusion. So I won't say too much about them, but just the fact that we do have these as part of ourselves. Everybody has them. You know, we can want more stuff, we can be averse to certain people or certain situations, and we can misconceive the world, misperceive things, and that's delusion. So we do this, but when we practice the Metta Bhavana, we're challenging that tendency within us. And that's a very powerful thing to be doing. It's putting a new reality on the table, so to speak. So I'll just leave that one there for now, and we can just start to do the practice, basically. Like I say, I'll introduce the stages at the start of each stage. And what will happen is I'll just ask you to look at what immediately happens when you bring that person to mind. And then we'll start to cultivate this intention, start to bring something new to the table. So if you are comfortable and feel like you're ready to get started, and hello Anthony and Mandy, good to see you. And so yeah, if you're feeling comfortable, just gently close your eyes. And just get a sense of what's really in the foreground for you at the moment. Could be anything really. It could be a bodily sensation that's always with you. It could be a sense of tiredness, maybe you've had a long day. You could be quite energized by something that's just happened that's kind of fired you up in some way. Could be a lot of mental content or a very strong emotional tone. And it's very important in this meditation to really notice where you're starting from. Because this process of transformation, we always bring that process to bear on something that is already in existence. If we don't engage with what's happening directly for us now, the Metta Bhavana can just be some kind of fantasy where we're just trying to feel good and entertain thoughts that we're proud to have. But really what the Metta Bhavana is doing is we're bringing an intention to some of the energies that are around. And some of those energies will be greed, hatred and delusion. So don't worry too much about that, because we're going to work with those. So just check in with yourself, see what's going on, what's around, what kind of energy you can feel. Don't worry too much about describing it or finding it familiar or unfamiliar. Just tune into the raw experience. You may find it helpful to tune into your breathing. Anything that helps you to stay present to your experience. So in the first stage, we bring ourselves to mind. And just tune into what happens when you bring yourself to mind. Is there a bodily sensation? Some kind of feeling, tone, some sort of emotion maybe? Or maybe a story starts to appear almost immediately about who you are, how you are, what kind of things you do, whether you approve or disapprove of yourself. Just notice what happens when you bring yourself to mind. Just staying with your experience. Exploring what comes up when you bring yourself to mind. Getting to know that response a little better. And staying with that experience, we can start to bring an intention in. We can start to wish ourselves to be well, to be free, to be happy. May I be well, may I be happy, may I be free from suffering. bringing an attitude of kindness, understanding, and well-wishing towards yourself. Any feedback you get from your body, from your feelings, from your mind, maybe positive towards yourself, maybe a feeling of warmth in the body, feeling of pleasure. Just explore that, encourage it to grow. You found it difficult to find any positivity towards yourself. Just reflect that even trying to meditate, even learning this path, is an act of kindness towards yourself. There is a part of you that wants to be well, wants to be happy, and wants to be free from suffering. So now in the second stage, we bring to mind a good friend. It should be someone that has a very simple, straightforward friendship. Sense of warmth maybe, sense of familiarity, positivity. And again, just tune in to what happens when you bring this person to mind. Don't worry too much about labeling or identifying that experience. Just tune into what happens when this person appears in your experience. Staying with that experience, we can start to cultivate the same intention. Bringing this intention to our energy that appeared. Wishing our good friend well, wishing them happiness, wishing them freedom. Opening our hearts to them. May they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. Exploring this feeling of friendship, positive energy, of being in the presence of a good friend. Allowing that sensation to develop, getting to know it better. So now in the third stage, we bring to mind a neutral person. Should be someone that we don't know, but someone we can get a good visual sense of. Maybe someone that lives in our street, and we don't know them. We may see them in a shop or at work, but we don't have any interaction with them. And just notice how you feel to bring in someone who you don't have strong associations with. There are no strong likes, there are no strong dislikes. Maybe you're not sure how to feel or what happens when they appear, which is fine. Just tuning into the fact that they are a person such as yourself. They have hopes and dreams, fears and worries. Their experience is as real, as vivid and important to them as yours is to you. Noticing what happens when you bring a neutral person to mind. And whatever our response was, again, we can start to cultivate an intention. May they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. Just as we want this, and as we want it for our friend, so this person also wants this. And we can wish them every success with that. May they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. Now may be a good time to just check in with how you're feeling. How is this practice making you feel? What's the effect of doing the Metta Bhavana? Do You feel different from when you first started to meditate. Just tuning into the transformation that occurs during this meditation. So now in the fourth stage, we bring to mind a difficult person. Shouldn't be someone who there's a very severe difficulty with or an enemy of some kind, but someone there's just a bit of tension. Could even be a good friend who there's a small disagreement with, something along those lines. And here we're going to challenge our beliefs about someone. Again, just check in with yourself. What happens when you bring this person to mind? Is there some sort of aversion there? You want to move away from them? Are you concerned that you aren't getting what you think you should get from them? But on some level, we're not really seeing them. There's always more to a person than what we perceive. And here we're taking metta into an area where we may not normally take it. Just tuning into how this person makes us feel. Staying with that energy this person has generated, starting to take a bit of ownership of that response. We can start to cultivate the same intention. May they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. Sensing any softening towards this person, any loosening of our views, our expectations. May they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. So now in the fifth and final stage, we bring all four people together in our minds: ourselves, the good friend, the neutral person, the difficult person. And we try to equalize our intention towards all four people. Allowing metta to flow forth towards all of them without qualification. Just allowing it to flow equally to all four people. Allowing our likes and dislikes, our preferences, our grievances or expectations. Just hold those in abeyance for a short while. Just allow metta to flow, acknowledging the existence of these people as people. And holding this intention, this equalization, you can now start to radiate out this feeling of metta out into the world more generally. Just to include all of the people, the immediate surroundings, in the buildings, the streets where you are. Just pushing metta outward, radiating out in all directions, to include all beings. Radiating further out of the village, the town, or the city, wherever you are. Allowing metta to shine forth on all beings, without limit, without preference. Expanding further and further out across the country you live in all directions. Wherever there are sentient beings, expanding further around the whole world. Metta without limit. And now as we approach the end of the meditation, just come back to your body, to your breath, and just check back in with how you're feeling. Noticing any contrast between how you are now and how you were at the beginning of the meditation. Just getting a sense of the transformative effects of the practice. And then when you're ready, just gently open your eyes, bring the meditation to a close. So thanks very much for joining us, and I hope you found that a very useful session. If you do want to make a donation, we do have a link in the description below this video or on our website. And again, we're very, very grateful for anything that you can give us. I'll just leave you with one thought. Rather than maybe just get up and get on with what you were going to do this evening, maybe just spend a few minutes just sitting and wait, just watching what happens after a meditation. Sometimes that period straight after a meditation can be very quite a sweet feeling in some ways. So it's worth exploring that, I think, a little bit. So I'm not sure if we'll be back next week yet. I might be, and we'll be doing the mindfulness of breathing again next week. So thanks for joining us, and I'll hopefully see you soon. Have a good week. Bye-bye.